We've had a conversation about athletics. That's a sport where Kenya usually is #1. Actually, at one point even topped the World Athletics Championship medal table. We're talking about the year 2015. Now, there is another sport where Kenya has been #1 in the world. And it is played any place you can be. You can play it on your computer, you can play it seated under a tree, you can play it in a hall. We're talking about Scrabble. And in studio with me, I have got one pro player, Scrabble pro player. We've got John Ongari. John, welcome.
Thank you.
And we also have got the president of Scrabble Kenya, Limo Kipimoesan. Karibu.
Asante sana.
President, let me just start with you with the history, about the last, from when the Scrabble Kenya got, registered. What was, how did people get into this board game and, decide let's formalize this thing and start having proper competitions?
Thanks for having us in studio. So Scrabble has been there organized since 1995. That's the first time when guys came up together and played the first national tournament. Prior to that, people used to play Scrabble in their homes, in offices, in entertainment joints. But it was time to take the sport to the next level. After that, Kenya immediately became a powerhouse in the world. At one point, Kenya was actually ranked #1 in the world, as you said. And since then, in all except one world championships, Kenya has always been represented. Topping, we've at some point we had one of our players finishing 6th or 5th in the world. That's worldwide. In Africa, Kenya has never been beyond #2. So, unfortunately, we played second fiddle to Nigeria for quite some time. But I think the tides will be changing pretty soon, owing to the activities going on right now. Lots of young players being inducted to the sport. And senior players are also sharpening their teeth. And we're seeing a lot of insurgents in terms of quality, in terms of numbers, in terms of outreach of the sport.
John, just tell us about you getting into this sport to a point where now you're playing it at the highest level.
So Scrabble for me was just pastime. You get it out when you're having board games or game nights, until I learned of the competition when I was in campus. And right now, the level at which I'm playing at is way different from when I started. There's a lot of practice and also preparation that is put into it. Just like in athletics, how they prepare each and every stage. Same thing has happened with Scrabble. You start from a level where you're just playing basic English words, normal words that you know. Then you now start playing Scrabble words, which are quite interesting.
Okay, just mention one Scrabble word that, people who speak heavy English would use.
Heavy English,
The ones who speak words that you pick from a thesaurus.
One word would be punditry.
Punditry?
Yeah, punditry. And for such a word, you see, it has, now in Scrabble, the P has 3 points, Y has 4 points. That is a very high scoring kind of play. And it's more than 7 tiles, so you're getting plus 50 points. So that is not something that people use that much, as compared to saying words like book or pen or whatever. Yeah.
So, well, that's basically it. Take a look at that. And, when people play this game initially, you play using the simple words. And because we've got a board here, basically, just, let's just get this, Chairman, and we could get going, and everyone knows how it's supposed to roll here.
So, as John mentioned, so Scrabble is a word of words, but again, it's a scoring game.
Yes.
So it's not really about the most romantic word you write, but it's the most high scoring word you can write. Sometimes you can win the game by those simple words that are the ones that can win you the game, not the complex. As you just asked her, let me give a word that someone wrote to me the other day when I was playing, Zarnek. Zarnek is a word that you might never have heard before, even seen it anywhere.
Sounds like the name of a Russian guy.
Yeah, so there are those very complex words, but it might not be the one that scores you the most. So you go for the score first. It's a scoring game. And having said that, that's why the Scrabble board has it's color coded to denote what you can score. For instance, you have the double letter score, triple letter score, double word score.
All right. So I can lift the board.
Yeah, sure.
So that this can be seen. So it's quite clear. The red.
That's a triple word score.
Good. This.
The pink is a double word score.
All these colors are pink. Anyway, all right. This.
That's a double letter score.
And then you've got
a triple letter
score.
Yeah.
And this is so that's a double letter.
Yeah, so it's like a repetitive game. Well, I think whoever designed the Scrabble board was an architect. So there's a lot of symmetry on how you score. So if you divide the board, it's actually like 4 parts of the board mirrored.
Actually, because if you see it, I can actually see the directions.
Yeah. It's like in 4 parts. This, yeah.
So those are the 4 parts of that board.
Yeah.
Now, the other one is the letters that are there.
So it has 100 pieces of tiles. So we have 100 pieces of Scrabble tiles. All below on the bottom right, you have points written on each of those tiles. For instance, W has 4 points. A has 1 point. So if you have to place your W on this triple word score, that would be 4 times 3.
Yes.
Whereas if you have to place the A, it's just 4 times 1. That's why I'm saying it's a scoring game. Yeah. So the word power, the more words you know, the higher your chances of scoring, because that means it's more of like you have a kick over the rest. Yeah.
All right. Now those are the letters. Allocation of tiles per player.
So first, before we get to allocation, so there are 100 pieces, and also from A to Z. So we use the normal dictionary, normal English dictionary.
The alphabet.
Yeah. So A to Z, and they're also spread. A has a certain number, B has a certain number, C has a certain number. A has 9, B has 2 of them, C 2, E has 12, F are only 2. So you also know, when you're playing along, you know which tiles have been played, which tiles haven't been played.
Which letter has only 1 tile?
A, there's quite a number, A, T, R. There's even what you call a blank. A blank is, it has no writing on it. So it can be used as anything on the board.
Okay.
It's like, how would I put it? It's like a power tile. Because you can use it to denote anything. You can use it as an X, you can use it as a Y. So each player on your rack, you need to have 7 tiles. So every time you play, you need to replace your rack so that it has 7 at any one time. Of course, unless the game is towards the tail end and there are no more tiles in the bag.
Well, we'll be talking about that, so you can get the tiles onto the rack and we can see how this all works. When we come back from this little break, we'll be told about the rules of playing Scrabble, and also there is another device that they have got here. You don't just take all your time. There is a timer and how it works, and the rules and the rankings. Let's take this break.
KBC Channel 1 brings you exclusive coverage of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. From Saturday 13th January to Sunday 11th February 2024, Cote d'Ivoire is the battleground for 24 teams fighting to lift the prestigious trophy. Who will be crowned kings of the African football? Watch all the action and revel only on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
How to access KBC Online services via eCitizen. Step 1. On your web browser, search kbc.ecitizen.go.ke. Step 2. Log in using your eCitizen account or create a new eCitizen account and log in. Step 3. Enter your OTP, which will be sent to you via SMS or email. Step 4. Select Matangazo service. Step 5. Read the service instructions. Step 6. Enter your general details. Step 7. Enter your service details and click Complete. Step 8. Submit your application and await feedback from eCitizen. Step 9. Click on Pay and your payment will be made automatically via M-Pesa and your service will be delivered. Step 10. You will then receive an invoice to confirm your payment. For any assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke. Telephone number +254 20 22 41 896.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning, the 22nd day of January 2024. It's a day when the national men's and women's volleyball teams are going to be named for the Zone 5 qualifiers for the African Games that will take place in Ghana. The competition will take in Egypt, so already the 14 men and 14 women will be named today. And also AFCON, KBC, so we continue with that. Well, getting back to a conversation about Scrabble, a board game. Kenya has been number 1 in the world at the moment in Africa, never below, it's either first or second. So we've got Limo Kipkemoi, who is the chair of Scrabble Kenya, and we've got John Wangari, who's a player and plays it at the highest level. So, and we now have got the board here, and we've got the racks and the tiles already. So we'll be getting into the practical part of it. And also, let me introduce our sign language interpreter, Lensa Odingo, who is going to be at the bottom right of your screen. Now, John and Limo, let's now get straight into the game.
Yeah.
And so that people understand. You already have your tiles. And first of all, there is this. When we play at home, we normally have got all the time. But at competition level, you introduce a clock.
Yes, each player has 25 minutes to play. 25 apportion time. That's in a competitive setting, and you have 10 extra minutes. But for those 10 extra minutes, you lose 10 points every minute. So you need to ensure that you finish playing within your 25 minutes, so you don't lose. You are not deducted points when you go overtime.
All right. So then, how does this work? The clock.
So once you settle who starts the game, either by in a tournament setting. The software decides who starts. The software does the pairing. But in a setting like this, you toss. So she picks one, tile I pick one. Whoever has the letter first towards A on the alphabet starts. So like now she picked A, I picked L. So she goes first. So when it's a turn to play, you press the clock to start a timer.
So with my rack over here, I have the word hint. As you play the game, you learn some tactics. Now, one example is not playing, when you play your vowel at the center, you're reducing the chances of your opponent using your vowel, placing maybe the Q on the double letter score, or the X. The Q is 10 points, X is 8 points. And because it's a scoring game, you have to make sure that you maximize and also reduce the chances of your opponent getting more points than you.
What pool players call kuficha white.
Yes.
So ideally
It's
now,
about score your maximum and ensure that your opponent scores the minimum they can.
so in this case, this is 4.
5, 6, 7. And then for every person who starts the game, the opponent who starts the game gets double points. So that is 14 points.
Good.
So I tap my clock and then I
Place my
replenish my rack.
4 tiles.
So this board can rotate so I can face any direction.
Okay.
Easy to play.
This is quite different from the normal board that you use at home. This is a pro board. And
Okay, so he's written heaviest on the board at the moment. And so,
So when you use all your tiles, you get an extra 50 marks.
okay.
Yeah.
So
for
let's start.
instance,
You started
so you
with
start
50.
counting these. It's four. These lands on a triple letter. So
So
7, 8, 12, 13. These also on triple. 16, 17, 18
Plus 50.
plus 50.
So 68.
yeah.
Now, as this builds up, so you've got, so here you are.
Then you replenish again.
You can do that. And so, time for you to play, Joanne. So she had the high value tile.
Yeah.
Then,
Quality.
yeah. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 plus 4, 18 times 2, 36.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 6 points, and that is, you see now, for example, let me pick this tile. Q, X, and Z. How many?
Q has 10,
10.
Z 10, X 8, and J 8. Those are the heavy, what you call the heavy scoring lesson.
And so here she is, and she's been able to score with that, and also trying to look for that, exact, board opportunity, and some of the words that are used. When it comes to Scrabble, there is something else I'd like to bring in. There is this book here. It's called the Scrabble Trainer.
Yeah.
But it's technically a dictionary. It's basically
Yeah, it's a dictionary.
It's a dictionary with all words.
So, so as I said, being a scoring game, the more words you know, the higher chance of winning a tournament or winning a game. So it starts from 2-letter words, 3-letter, 4, all the way up to, I think, 15 if you so wish to learn such long words. But usually people focus on, now to play competitively, you need to master all the 2, 3, 4. So most players know all 2-letter, 3-letter, 4-letter. Some actually know all the from 2-letter to 7 letters, or even to 8 letters. I know people who've read this dictionary, page 1 to last, many times. So they actually know all the words in that dictionary. So anytime they get any kind of rack, they would almost get any word that's a 7-letter or the longest word they can write on that rack.
Let me just pick your rack here because I've just noticed that it's a very odd rack.
Yeah.
If you just take a look at this, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vowels.
Yeah.
5 consonants, 1 vowel, and a blank.
Yeah.
So managing, because you pick these things randomly.
Yeah.
How then do you manage, situations like this?
So the higher the more words you know, the much easier it becomes to manage such a rack. Secondly, you look at the board, what can you use? I only have these, but there's also an E on the board, there's another I, there's another I. So you also need to see what can I use on the board to maximize my score. So again, it's a lot of situational play. Yeah, you need to know what to play and what not to play.
Very well. Now, when it comes to placing the tiles on the board, what's allowed, what's not allowed? Joanne?
So each and every word you play on the board, it must be a Scrabble word. I wouldn't say an English word because it's not only English words we play, but it must be a Scrabble word. So as we are playing, if I doubt the validity of that word, I challenge. When I challenge, you pause the clock, then we use a Scrabble checker. So right now we are in the era where we don't use dictionaries in the playing hall, but we use certain softwares to check. So you put in the word that you're challenging. If the word is there, the opponent who was being challenged gets +5. If the word is not there, you get your 0 and you get your tiles back. So right now as you were talking, I've just realized I missed the bingo iniquity with my Q using this I down there.
Yeah.
So that is a loss of, that's like around
You should have
80.
scored perhaps 100 plus.
Yeah.
100 plus.
Yeah.
Actually, since we are allowed to do a little bit of movement,
This is what
just
she
using
had.
this, what she had.
Yeah. Iniquity.
Iniquity. Madambi mingi.
Yeah. It's, iniquity is yeah. It's iniquity.
And it's a triple word score.
Yeah. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 18, 19, 20, 60, 110. Yes, my coach will really pinch me for that, but you live, you learn. Now that those are the mistakes you do in the game.
And there are also software's challenge for instance, if you don't agree with that word, you actually challenge.
Okay, so let's talk about the question that I asked.
Yes.
You've got the tiles here. What's allowed? Which tiles where can you place tiles? Where can't you place tiles?
Also, you can place anywhere, so long as it forms a word that's acceptable. For instance, so if you write that ditch, if I could also have played, say this, diff. So those are three words you're forming. There's DIF, there's DI, there's IT, and there's FY. All those are words, acceptable words.
Now, this comes in, and so playing at this level means that the game at one point starts getting into the professional. What are the available spaces for pro players, starting with Joan?
So currently, one of the best things that Scrabble offers is travel. We are preparing a team that will be going to the African Games. Scrabble will be one of the demonstrational sports. That's the first time ever. And so a team of 6 will be representing Kenya. At the same time, we also have the East, Central, and Southern African Championships. They'll be happening in Botswana in March. And then the African Scrabble Championship in Sierra Leone in October. So there are lots of competitions for pro players. And at the same time, we also have the World Championship. Last year, we were not able to take our team to Las Vegas. One of us represented us. We did not have the funding. So that's one of the challenges. However, in terms of travel, there are lots of competitions outside the country. In Kenya, we have a national circuit that happens each and every month in different counties. So like this month we had our championship in Nairobi. Trademark Hotel hosted us. Next month we'll be in Bungoma. The month after that in Homa Bay. So we have a variety of players across the country participating in different championships, all in the glory to represent Kenya.
And Limo, let me just come in now here. And when you have these championships, eventually, for example, let me think of another sport that's played on a board, chess. Depending on your performance, you get points or you get ranked by FIDE. How do you then move up the ranks as far as Scrabble is concerned?
So Scrabble has a rating system, perhaps not similar to chess, but it has its own rating system. So the more games you win, the higher rated you become. So you need to keep winning. For right now, the highest rated player in Kenya is Alan Oyende. He's actually been the highest rated player for quite some time. We've been having young players now coming up the ranks and racking up points. And in the next few months, we might be having young players actually taking over and overtaking the old guards in terms of ranking. So when you are planning for events, both local and international, especially to represent the country, it's your ratings that determine who represents us.
So I've got the Scrabble Kenya ratings here with me. So taking it at the moment, the one with the highest rating is Wellington Jigere.
No, that should be for Africa.
For Africa.
Yeah.
Because this is actually SK latest.
So for that particular, when you have international players coming into play, we have different rating systems in the different countries.
Okay.
So here in Kenya, when Jigere Wellington came into Kenya, he's a grandmaster in Nigeria. Alan Oyende is the grandmaster, the only grandmaster in East Africa. So that's quite a feat for Scrabble Kenya. So when Jigere came in, he obviously plays against the big boys in the sport. So his rating surpassed most of the players over there.
Okay, so initials I'm seeing besides the names of some people, we've got Jigere is mentioned as CC.
Oh, he's a champion player. Yeah.
That's a new honor or created by Panasa. Panasa is the body in charge of Scrabble in Africa. That's Pan-African Scrabble Association. So latest they introduced that connotation before your name, just to give weight to players or appreciate players for their efforts. So you have grandmasters, you have the champion players and such.
Now, GM is grandmaster.
Yes.
There is Michael Gongolo, EXP.
That's an
Expert player.
Yeah.
So how do you move up now? At what number of points do you now break to having initials after your name?
They had their criteria for that. One was, of course, your rating points. The second consideration was the number of African games you've played, or games you've played in African Scrabble Championship. So there was a whole system of how to identify those players.
I know the next stop for you is going to be, just looking at your calendar, is Bungoma.
Yes.
Yeah, Bungoma is on 4th and 5th of February. Yeah.
So how does one now reach out to you? And for example, those who are in Bungoma would like to travel to Bungoma. What's the criteria for getting into this, into the competitions and fully understanding the game rules throughout?
So there is no formula to joining Scrabble. You just need to reach out and come to tournaments. And you have a 3-tier tournament. You have the entry level. So anyone who's not played Scrabble before, or you feel like you know nothing about Scrabble, that's where you come in. And again, as you said, we have a rating system. So that's when you start picking where you are, so you can start rating you. Then the intermediate level is those players rated between, I think, 700 to below 1,300. So it's the second batch. So anyone within that rating point can play in the intermediate level. Then you have the premier level, anyone rated 1,300 points and above. So we have a 3-tier tournament. So it cuts across, so anyone can come and play where you fit.
Well, a very fair way such that if you are, you've got 50 points, ranking points, then you don't get hammered.
Yeah.
There's somebody's got 1,800.
Yeah.
Correct.
Now, the Kenya Masters, let's talk about this event that is, how do you just describe this?
So Kenya Masters it's a premium event. Over time, again, as I mentioned, Nigeria has been way ahead of us. So the officials and the senior players within Scrabble ranks decided to create these, like the league of heavyweights. So you have to be rated 1,500 points and above to play in the Masters. Basically, it's to have the highest rated players play among themselves at a grand stage. So there's a committee that runs that sector, the Masters level. There's David Kienja, there's Martins Mutai, and there's Dr. Michael Gongolo. They're in charge of that program. And they have 3 events, events quarterly. So we choose the venues and they square it out. And it's also invitational. Anyone from any other country can attend. The last edition we had guys from Nigeria, gracing the occasion, Uganda.
Liberia.
Yeah, Liberia.
And making the sport professional.
Yeah, so we are trying to make it to get to the professional level. So we are working twofold. It's at the top you want to get to make it professional. At the lower level you want to bring in more players. And to that regard, there are vibrant programs to bring the youth. Again, so as you mentioned, Scrabble can be professional and guys can make a living out of Scrabble. But secondly, Scrabble is also very good for the young ones. It keeps them busy. Start developing their cognitive skills early in life. As you mentioned, you need to manage your expectations on the board, manage how someone scores, and also manage your feelings. It's a sport. There's winning and there's losing.
Joanne, for anyone who feels that, yes, this is difficult at times, you know, there's the fear that you come in and people start dropping some very heavy words here, or some of the unusual words that I've seen in this dictionary. What's the message to them and to those in schools? And the other one that, for the analog people like me, this is how I would play Scrabble, the online space.
Okay. So for Scrabble, the good thing, as you said, there is the analog part and there's the digital part. So you can play Scrabble on your phone. There are various apps where you can play Scrabble. There's also a website where you can play Scrabble. So we actually have tournaments online for anyone who's available. For children, as he has said, cognitive ability, there is that enhancement. There's also the enhancement in their diction. Some of the kids we're training right now, we have 7-year-olds who are learning the game. So in terms of mathematics, in terms of language, they're getting proficient through this game. Even handling losses. You see, when there's winning and there's losing, how to handle that particular loss. There are times when people get frustrated and they just want to append the board, but that's something that you learn as time goes. For any beginner who would like to get into this competitively, you start small. You can participate in any of the game nights that happen in different places, or even at home, playing online, and then now coming to tournaments. So coming to tournaments, you can reach us through Facebook on Scrabble Kenya, on Twitter at Kenya_Scrabble, on Instagram at Scrabble.Kenya, and on call through 0725 370 075. Yes.
Very well. Thank you very much, Joan Wangari. She's a Scrabble player, and you can see that this board is a sport that everyone can play and it's open to anyone. Chairman Limo Kipkemoi, where will the Bungoma event be?
It's a county hotel in Bungoma, just within town. So yeah, so everyone is it's County Green Hotel, Bungoma town. Everyone is invited. There's already excitement towards the event. I've seen entries from even across border, guys from Uganda attending the tournament. There'll be even young guys from high school playing the tournament. So everyone will feel at home. Yeah.
No.
And also to mention, it's also a qualifier for the African Scrabble Championship in Sierra Leone later in the year.
All right. Thank you very much, Joan and Limo. Talking about Scrabble, this sport, it's wordplay. And by the way, there is a word like FY. How do you pronounce that?
Fi.
This is a word. Fi.
Yeah.
That can only, I know it, I know die. But FY, I hadn't heard of it before. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.